Welcome to the monthly economic update for the month of February. So, when we take a look at the local landscape, in the month of February, inflation remained positive with the headline inflation being identified at 2.3% for CCPI and 2.4% for NCPI. And when we take a look at the external trade sector, the services trade recorded a significant high of $343.8 billion US dollars, whereas the workers' remittances also increased by 31.1% mark. When we take a look at the tourist arrivals increased by 9.7%. However, the tourist earnings declined by 5.6%. So this gap has been identified and explored through the monthly economic update for the month of February. And in this, we have identified that throughout 2025, Sri Lankan tourism sector had this gap. And if we take the tourism sector, Sri Lankan tourism was identified and praised by multiple international platforms. However, throughout 2025, the gap between arrivals and earnings has been highlightedly noted. So, in platforms, at least from the tourism sector, they have identified multiple contributors to this gap between the arrivals and earnings from tourists. Some of the contributors that are highlighted the identified include unregistered establishments of accommodation, inbound tour services, and well-set aviatic services that are operating informally. You have to spot. So, in the monthly economic update, we have identified the reasons and the recommendations as to how to tackle this issue. Then, moving from tourism sector to the credit to private sector. So, in the month of December for 2025, the credit to private sector had a growth of 26.9%. And we have explored this credit growth in the monthly economic update for the month of February. And taking a look at credit to private sector by commercial banks and other sources, these showed a continued improvements through 2024 to 2025 until the very end. So, if we take a look at some of the key drivers of this growth, one contributor to this was vehicle-related finance. So, once the regulations on importation of vehicles listed, this contributed towards growing the credit to private sector from commercial banks as well as financing companies. Another factor that contributed was the slow public sector borrowing, which freed up more funds or more credit flow to the businesses. So even though this credit flow leads towards investment and improvement and more confidence towards the economy, it's also necessary to ensure that rapid credit growth would not lead towards inflation. Now, moving from the local landscape to the global landscape. In the global landscape, the most pressing issue that is being discussed currently is the unrest happening in the Middle East. So, stemming from that, in the month economic update, we have identified the US's pressure on Cuba's oil transport and how it has affected this economy, and the insights that we can take as a country that also imports energy, which is similar to the situation in Cuba. And apart from the geopolitical tensions, the second most concerning factor currently roaming around the global landscape are the global concerns regarding sovereign debt. So in this MBU, we are looking at the looming debt crisis in Japan and what it could mean globally and how it could affect Sri Lanka as well. Then moving towards the evolving landscape, Sri Lanka has introduced a new set of tariff reforms on imports. So this is mainly targeting the export target of $36 million to be achieved by 2030. So in the MAU, we have identified several areas that are being addressed through this tariff reforms, and these tariff reforms have been presented to the cabinet and approved as well. Now with that, we come to read up more on the areas that were highlighted during this video. I would like you to visit Ceylon Chamber's website for the monthly economic update for the month of February. Thank you.